The massive alien ship appeared in Earth's orbit without warning, its sleek silver hull gleaming under the sun. The world's governments watched in stunned silence as smaller vessels descended through the atmosphere, heading straight for the United Nations headquarters in New York. Admiral James Walker stood at attention in the UN Assembly Hall, his weathered face showing no emotion as the alien delegates glided into the room. Their tall, slender forms moved with an unnatural grace, and their metallic robes shimmered with each step. The lead alien, who called himself High Commander, raised his four-fingered hand in what seemed like a greeting. "People of Earth," the High Commander spoke in perfect English, his voice oddly mechanical. "We represent the Galactic Council, the governing body of civilized, spacefaring species. We have come to welcome humanity into our fold." But something felt wrong. Walker noticed the subtle tension in the aliens' posture, the way their eyes darted around the room as if assessing threats. 20 years of military service had taught him to trust his instincts, and right now, they were screaming danger. His suspicions proved correct when one of his officers rushed into the hall, face pale with worry. "Admiral, we've detected multiple council ships appearing across the globe. They're positioning themselves above every major city." The High Commander's friendly facade cracked. "We had hoped to do this peacefully, but your species has been classified as too dangerous to remain independent. Our studies over the past 50 years have shown that humans are unpredictable, violent, and progress too quickly. Submit to council rule or face extinction." The assembly erupted in chaos. World leaders shouted in protest, but Walker remained calm. He'd been preparing for something like this, though he'd hoped it would never come. "How long have you been watching us?" Walker asked, his voice cutting through the noise. The High Commander's lips curved into what might have been a smile. "Longer than your primitive minds can comprehend. We saw your wars, your conflicts, your rapid technological advancement. The Council has determined that leaving humanity unchecked would destabilize the galactic order." President Thompson of the United States stood up, her face red with anger. "You speak of civilization, yet threaten genocide. Who gave you the right to judge us?" "We did," the High Commander replied simply. "The Council has maintained peace for 10,000 years by controlling species like yours. You have 30 days to surrender control of your governments and military forces to Council oversight. Resistance will result in immediate military action." As the alien delegates left the hall, Walker pulled out his secure phone and sent a single message: "Initialize Phoenix Protocol." Deep beneath the Rocky Mountains, massive doors began to open. Similar facilities across the globe hummed to life. In the Siberian wilderness, the Australian outback, and beneath the Sahara Desert, humanity had not been as defenseless as the Council believed. Later that day, Walker stood in the Pentagon's war room, surrounded by military leaders from every major nation. The old rivalries had vanished in the face of this common threat. On the main screen, President Thompson addressed the emergency meeting. "Ladies and gentlemen, today marks a turning point in human history," she declared. "The Galactic Council believes they can intimidate us into submission. They think they know humanity from their observations, but they don't know our greatest strength, our ability to unite and fight back when pushed into a corner." Walker stepped forward. "For the past 20 years, we've been quietly preparing. Those UFO crashes weren't accidents. They were gifts from a faction within the Council who opposed their leadership. We've reversed-engineered their technology and combined it with human innovation. We're not as helpless as they think." The Chinese general nodded grimly. "All our nations have been working together in secret. Project Phoenix is ready." "The Council gave us 30 days, the Russian marshal added, a fierce gleam in his eyes. "They expect us to spend that time arguing among ourselves or preparing a futile defense." Walker allowed himself a small smile. "Instead, we'll give them something they never expected: humanity's first strike. They believe they're dealing with primitive savages. It's time to show them how wrong they are." As the meeting continued into the night, satellites tracked the Council ships in orbit. The aliens were confident, relaxed, unaware that beneath the planet's surface, humanity was preparing the biggest surprise in galactic history. The countdown to Earth's retaliation had begun. Deep within the Rocky Mountain complex, Dr. Emma Richardson walked through rows of gleaming spacecraft that the world had never seen. Each ship combined the best of human engineering with reversed-engineered alien technology. The hangar stretched for miles underground, housing humanity's secret fleet. Status report. She called out to her team of engineers who were running final checks on the flagship, the Terra's Fury. The massive vessel could match any Council warship in size, but its true power lay in the unique modifications humans had added. All systems are green, Doctor, her lead engineer reported. The quantum drive is stable, and the adaptive shield system is responding better than expected. Those aliens won't know what hit them. Emma touched the ship's hull, remembering the 15 years she spent leading Project Phoenix. While the Council thought humans were still struggling with basic spaceflight, they had already mastered technologies that even the Council hadn't thought to develop. Director Richardson. A young technician came running, tablet in hand. Admiral Walker is requesting your presence in the command center. They've decoded more of the Council's transmissions. The command center buzzed with activity. Massive screens showed Council ship positions around the globe, while others displayed technical readouts from their vessels. Admiral Walker stood at the central table, studying a holographic display of the solar system. The Council is getting cocky, Walker said as Emma approached. They've reduced their patrol patterns. They think we're just sitting here, debating whether to surrender. Emma pulled up her latest data. Their overconfidence is their weakness. Our ships aren't just copies of their technology. We've improved it. Their shields are designed to stop energy weapons, but they've never faced our kinetic mass drivers. And they certainly don't expect our quantum tunneling technology. 28 days until their deadline. Walker mused. But we strike in 3. Show me the fleet status. Emma activated another hologram. We have 500 ships ready across 8 hidden bases. The neural interface systems are online, allowing our pilots to control their ships as if they were extensions of their own bodies, something the Council never thought to develop. They rely too much on AI. Suddenly, alarms blared through the facility. A junior officer rushed in. Sir, the Council ships are scanning the Rockies. They might have detected something. Walker remained calm. Activate the quantum deflectors. Dr. Richardson. Emma's fingers flew across her console. The Mountain's advanced cloaking system, based on quantum field manipulation, strengthened. On the screens, they watched as the Council's scan passed harmlessly over them. They're looking in the wrong place anyway, Emma said with a slight smile. They're scanning for power signatures matching their technology. But our hybrid systems have a completely different energy pattern. The next few days were a blur of activity. Around the world, humanity's hidden arsenal was preparing for war. In underwater bases, desert bunkers, and mountain facilities, soldiers trained with advanced weapons while engineers made final adjustments to the fleet. What made their technology special wasn't just the alien components, it was how humans had reimagined and rebuilt everything. Where Council ships relied on pure energy weapons, human vessels carried railguns that could accelerate projectiles to near-light speed. Where Council shields blocked energy attacks, human shields adapted and learned from each hit. The Council thinks they've seen everything we can do, Emma told her team during the final briefing. They've watched our wars, our conflicts, our technological progress. But they watched from a distance, missing what makes humans truly dangerous, our ability to take ideas and transform them into something new. Admiral Walker joined them for the final inspection. The launching bays were ready, the ships were fueled, and crews were in position. In less than 24 hours, humanity would reveal its true strength. Doctor, Walker said quietly, when I first saw the crashed alien ship 20 years ago, I never imagined we'd come this far. The Council thought they were being clever, watching us all these years. But while they were studying us, We were studying them, Emma finished, and improving on everything we learned. As they looked out over the fleet, Emma felt a mix of pride and anticipation. The Council had made a fatal mistake. They had judged humanity by their past, never imagining what they could become. Tomorrow, they would learn just how wrong they had been. The hidden arsenal was ready. Earth's time had come. Admiral Walker stood on the bridge of the Terra's Fury, watching as his fleet emerged from the quantum tunnels directly behind the Council's main defense station in the Arcturus sector. The element of surprise was total. The aliens had never imagined humans could bypass their detection networks so completely. All ships report ready, his tactical officer announced. The Council station hasn't raised their shields yet. They don't even know we're here. Walker allowed himself a grim smile. Send the message we prepared. Let's show them what humanity can do. On every Council communication channel, a simple message played. From Earth, with love. The Council station erupted in chaos as alarms finally blared. But it was too late. The first volley from the human fleet had already launched. Thousands of hypersonic projectiles accelerated to near-light speed by electromagnetic railguns. The station's shields activated a second too late. Direct hits across all target zones, the weapons officer reported. Their outer defenses are down. They're scrambling fighters, but they're disorganized. Walker watched as Council ships emerged from the station, their formations sloppy in their panic. Launch our fighters. Remember the training. Hit and fade. Don't let them use their energy weapons effectively. Earth's fighters were smaller than their Council counterparts, but far more agile. Using neural interfaces, human pilots controlled their craft as if they were extensions of their own bodies. They darted between the larger alien vessels, their kinetic weapons tearing through shields designed to stop energy attacks. Sir, we're picking up Council reinforcements coming out of faster-than-light travel, his sensor officer called out. 3 capital ships headed straight for us. Right on schedule, Walker said. Activate Phase 2. From the quantum tunnels behind them, another human fleet emerged, this one led by the Thunder of Earth. The Council ships found themselves caught in a classic hammer and anvil maneuver, something their tactical computers weren't prepared for. The Council captains are requesting communication, the comm officer announced. Put them through, Walker ordered. A Council commander appeared on screen, his alien features twisted in what might have been shock. This is impossible. Your species cannot have this technology. You spent so long watching us, Walker replied calmly, but you never understood us. Humanity doesn't just copy. We innovate. We improve. We evolve. As if to emphasize his point, another wave of kinetic rounds struck the Council capital ships. Their shields, calibrated for energy weapons, provided little protection against physical projectiles moving at relativistic speeds. Multiple hull breaches detected on enemy vessels, Tactical reported. They're losing power. Sir, the station is attempting to send a distress signal to Council headquarters. Walker nodded. Let them. It's time the entire Council learned what they've awakened. The battle continued for another hour, but the outcome was never in doubt. Council ships, designed for long-range energy weapon duels, couldn't adapt to human tactics. Earth's vessels fought like ancient sea raiders, striking from unexpected angles and using maneuvers that the Council's combat computers dismissed as illogical until it was too late. When the last Council ship surrendered, Walker ordered his fleet to secure the station. The human Marines who boarded it found the alien crew in complete disarray, still unable to believe what had happened. Admiral, his communication officer called out, "We're receiving transmissions from across Council space." They're panicking, sir. No one's ever successfully attacked a major Council installation before. Their entire defense network is going to high alert. Walker studied the tactical display, watching as Council forces across the galaxy scrambled to respond. But they were responding to the last attack, exactly as planned. Even now, more human fleets were emerging from quantum tunnels near other vital Council installations. "Send word to all Earth forces," he ordered. "Operation Thunderstrike is a success. Begin Phase 2 of the campaign." As his words were relayed across the human fleet, Walker thought about the Council's arrogance. They had watched humanity fight countless wars throughout history, but they had failed to learn the most important lesson. Humans were at their most dangerous when united against a common enemy. The first strike had been delivered. Now the real war would begin, and the galaxy would never be the same. The Grand Council chamber on Centauri Prime was in absolute chaos. Representatives from 100 alien species argued and shouted, their voices echoing off the ancient marble walls. High Commander Dex, who had delivered the ultimatum to Earth just days ago, stood before them trying to explain the impossible. How did primitive humans defeat our most advanced defense station? One council member demanded, their crystalline form shimmering with anger. You assured us they were centuries behind our technology. Captain Mark Stevens and his stealth team watched this scene through their cloaked observation devices, having infiltrated the Council's supposedly impenetrable headquarters. Their adaptive camouflage suits, reverse-engineered from captured Council tech, made them invisible even to the most advanced alien sensors. "Team, maintain position," Stevens whispered into his neural comm. "Keep recording everything." The Council's emergency session continued, revealing more than they ever intended. On the main display, footage showed human ships appearing from nowhere, using technology that shouldn't exist, and employing tactics that defied Council military doctrine. "Their ships aren't just copies of our designs," a military analyst explained to the Council. "They've modified and improved everything. Their neural interfaces give them reaction speeds we can't match. Their weapons ignore our strongest shields. They're using principles we never even considered." Stevens smiled behind his camouflage mask. If only they knew that humans had spent decades preparing for this moment, studying every piece of alien technology they could find, and reimagining how it could be used. "We must strike back immediately," another council member shouted. "Launch our reserve fleets." The High Commander's response was telling. "We've lost contact with 12 more military installations in the last hour. Somehow, the humans are bypassing our sensor networks completely. We don't know where they'll strike next." While the Council argued, Stevens' team moved carefully through the building's secured data centers. Their mission wasn't just observation. They were here to uncover the Council's deepest secrets. "Captain, I found something," his tech specialist reported. "Accessing their primary database now." The files they discovered were damning. The Council hadn't just been watching Earth. They had been systematically suppressing dozens of younger species across the galaxy. Any civilization that showed too much promise or developed too quickly was either forced into submission or eliminated. "Send this back to command," Stevens ordered. "The galaxy needs to see what the Council really is." The data revealed more. The Council's technology wasn't even entirely their own. They had stolen most of it from species they had conquered, then erased the evidence. Their 1,000-year peace was built on countless hidden atrocities. Meanwhile, in the Council chamber, the panic was growing. Reports kept coming in of more human victories. Council tactics, unchanged for centuries, proved useless against Earth's adaptable strategy. "They're fighting like no species we've ever encountered," a military commander admitted. "They don't follow any predictable pattern. Each time we adapt to their tactics, they change them completely." Stevens checked his team's position as they carefully extracted themselves from the facility. They had what they came for: proof of the Council's true nature and detailed information about their military capabilities. "The humans must have had help," one Council member insisted. "No species could advance this quickly on their own." The irony wasn't lost on Stevens. The Council had spent so long maintaining their power through force and fear that they couldn't comprehend a species that advanced through innovation and determination. As his team made their way to their extraction point, Stevens sent one final message to Earth Command. "Mission accomplished. You won't believe what we found." Back in the chamber, the Council's desperate planning session was interrupted by new alarms. More human fleets had been detected, appearing seemingly out of nowhere near crucial council worlds. Their carefully maintained order was crumbling. How are they doing this? The High Commander demanded of his advisors. How did we not see this coming? But Stevens knew the answer as his team prepared to return to Earth. The Council had watched humanity for centuries, seeing only what they expected to see, a violent, primitive species that needed to be controlled. They had never understood that those same traits, humanity's drive, creativity, and determination, would be their undoing. The Council's age of dominance was ending, and they still didn't understand why. Ambassador Lisa Cooper stood before an unusual gathering in the hidden Earth base beneath the Pacific Ocean. The massive conference room was filled with representatives from 24 alien species, all of them former victims of the Council's oppression. Their data had been discovered during Captain Stevens' raid on the Council headquarters. For too long, the Council has kept us divided and afraid. Cooper addressed the gathering, her voice firm with conviction. They made each of us believe we were alone in our struggle. Today, that changes. The alien delegates watched intently. Some were humanoid, others completely foreign in appearance, but all shared the same look of desperate hope. A tall, blue-skinned being stood up, its bioluminescent patterns pulsing with emotion. "Your people have done the impossible," it said. "You've shown that the Council can be defeated. But why should we trust humans to be any different from them?" Cooper gestured to the massive screen behind her, displaying the battles Earth had won. "We don't want to rule you. We want to free you. Every species here has something unique to offer, technologies and ideas the Council forced you to abandon." The evidence Captain Stevens had recovered was damning. The Council had systematically identified and suppressed any species that showed too much potential. Some had been forced into submission through military might, others through economic manipulation. The Council didn't just steal our future. A crystalline being chimed in, its faceted surface reflecting light across the room. "They stole our past, made us forget what we could achieve." "Then let's take it back," Cooper replied. "Earth's fleets have already broken their hold on key sectors. With your help, we can do more than just defeat them. We can build something better." A series of holograms appeared, showing the unique technologies each species had developed before the Council suppressed them. One race had mastered biological computing, another had developed gravity manipulation, and a third had pioneered organic space habitats. "The Council's power came from keeping us isolated," Cooper continued. "They made sure no two species could combine their knowledge. But look what humanity achieved by simply combining their stolen tech with our own ideas. Imagine what all of us could do together." The delegates began to talk among themselves, their earlier fear giving way to excitement. Earth's successes had shown them something they'd thought impossible. The Council could be beaten. "We're calling it the Free Species Alliance," Cooper announced. "Equal partners, sharing knowledge and resources. No more suppression, no more forced submission." As if to emphasize her point, news arrived from the front lines. 3 Council member species, impressed by Earth's victories and disgusted by the revealed truth, had declared independence. The Council's carefully maintained order was crumbling. "The Council thinks they know everything about warfare," a reptilian delegate hissed. "But they haven't fought a real war in centuries. They'd forgotten how to adapt." Cooper nodded. "That's their weakness. They believe their way is the only way. But look at Earth's fleet. We took their technology and reimagined it completely. Each of you can do the same." The meeting continued for hours as more species pledged their support. Some offered hidden shipyards, others provided crucial intelligence about Council weaknesses. Each contribution strengthened the alliance. "The Council called humans dangerous," Cooper said as the session concluded. They were right, but not in the way they thought. "We're dangerous because we dream, because we innovate, because we never accept limitations. And now we're offering that same freedom to all of you." As the delegates filed out to contact their hidden resistance movements, Cooper received an urgent message from Admiral Walker. The Council was gathering its remaining forces for a massive counterattack. But looking at the newly formed alliance, Cooper felt no fear. The Council had spent millennia building their power through fear and isolation. They weren't prepared for what was coming. A galaxy united against them, combining technologies and ideas in ways they'd never imagined. The Alliance of the Oppressed was born, and the galaxy would never be the same. Admiral Walker's massive fleet dropped out of quantum tunnels near the Council's capital system. The Terra's Fury led the charge, followed by thousands of ships from Earth and their new allies. The combined fleet was unlike anything the galaxy had ever seen, each species contributing their unique technologies to create an unstoppable force. Council Defense Grid detecting us, his tactical officer reported. They're mobilizing everything they have. Send the message, Walker ordered. Give them one chance to surrender. But the Council's response came in the form of energy beams and plasma torpedoes. Their entire home fleet emerged from behind their orbital platforms, presenting a wall of firepower that would have destroyed any conventional attack force. They've activated their superweapon. The sensor officer called out. Massive energy buildup detected on their central station. Walker remained calm. Now, Dr. Richardson. From her command center on Earth, Emma Richardson activated humanity's secret weapon. Across the human fleet, special pods opened to reveal what looked like sleeping pilots connected to complex machinery. Consciousness transfer complete. Emma's voice came through. AI pilots are online. The human fleet suddenly moved with impossible precision. The transferred consciousness of Earth's best pilots, now running on quantum computers, could react thousands of times faster than organic beings. Ships danced through the Council's barrage like raindrops through a storm. They're trying to power up their planet-killer weapon. Tactical reported. Energy signatures are off the charts. Exactly as we expected. Walker smiled. All ships, execute Operation Thunderclap. The Allied fleet split into precise formations. Ships from Earth provided cover fire with their kinetic weapons, while vessels from their new allies added their own unique attacks. Crystalline ships fired beams that phased through Council shields, while bioorganic vessels released clouds of nanites that ate through hull plating. The Council's superweapon station began to glow with gathered energy. But before it could fire, a special team of consciousness-transferred pilots struck. Their ships, smaller than fighters, slipped through gaps in the station's defense grid that organic pilots could never have managed. Target locked. The team leader reported, their digital consciousness processing information at light speed, delivering the package. The package was a hybrid weapon combining technologies from 5 different species. It bypassed the station's shields completely, using principles the Council had never imagined possible. The massive station's glow flickered and died. Their superweapon, the Council's last resort, had been neutralized with surgical precision. Their command center is in chaos, communications reported. They're fighting among themselves. Some Council members are trying to surrender while others want to continue fighting. Walker opened a channel to all ships. This is their last defense. Push forward. Show them what a truly united galaxy can do. The battle that followed would be remembered for centuries. Council ships, fighting with tactics unchanged for 1,000 years, couldn't adapt to the combined strategies of Earth and its allies. Their rigid formations broke against attacks coming from angles their computers said were impossible. Their central defense platform is down, Tactical announced. The path to their capital is clear. The Council's supreme leaders, watching from their supposedly impregnable fortress, finally realized the truth. They had spent so long controlling and suppressing others that they had stopped advancing themselves. Now they faced the combined innovation of every species they had tried to hold back. Admiral, his comm officer called out, "We're receiving surrender signals from multiple Council facilities. Their military command structure is collapsing." Walker watched as the Council's mighty fleet broke apart, some ships continuing to fight while others powered down their weapons. The regime that had dominated the galaxy for thousands of years was falling apart in a single day. "Send word to Ambassador Cooper," he ordered. "The capital is ours. The Free Species Alliance can begin its work." As the last Council ships surrendered, Walker thought about the irony. The Council had feared humanity's potential for violence and change. In trying to suppress those qualities, they had brought about their own destruction. The final battle was over. Now came the harder task: building a better galaxy. 1 year after the fall of the Council, the Grand Hall of the new Galactic Federation of Free Peoples was alive with activity. The building, constructed in Earth orbit, symbolized everything the Alliance had fought for: a place where all species could meet as equals. Admiral Walker, now wearing the formal uniform of the Federation's combined fleet, stood with Ambassador Cooper as they watched representatives from over 100 species file into the chamber. Many were former Council members who had chosen to join the new order. Others were races that had been hidden or suppressed for centuries. "Hard to believe it's only been a year," Cooper said, watching a group of crystalline beings discussing quantum physics with biological computers. "The galaxy has changed more in 12 months than it did in the Council's 1,000-year rule." Walker nodded. "Because we let everyone contribute their own ideas instead of forcing them to follow one way of thinking. The Council's biggest mistake wasn't trying to control us. It was stopping their own progress." The changes were everywhere. Ships combining technologies from multiple species patrolled trade routes that had been restricted for centuries. Former Council worlds had opened their archives, sharing knowledge that had been hidden away. The galaxy was experiencing a renaissance of culture, technology, and cooperation. "The latest reports from the frontier are encouraging," Cooper said, checking her datapad. 3 more lost colonies have been rediscovered. The Council had hidden their existence, but they survived and developed their own unique technologies. In the center of the hall, Dr. Richardson was demonstrating Earth's latest innovation: a combination of human neural interfaces, crystalline computing, and organic technology that allowed instant communication across vast distances. It was just one example of what was possible when species worked together instead of against each other. "Some still call us dangerous," Walker mused, watching the demonstration. "They say humans changed too much, too fast." "We are dangerous," Cooper smiled. "Dangerous to tyranny, dangerous to stagnation, dangerous to anyone who thinks they can control the destiny of others." The formal session began with representatives from each member species sharing their achievements. Trade agreements were signed, research projects were approved, and disputes were settled through discussion rather than force. The Council feared change, a former Council member admitted during their speech. "We thought stability meant controlling everything. But look at what we achieved in just 1 year of freedom, more advancement than in centuries of suppression." The greatest symbol of change stood in orbit around Earth, the Council's former capital station, now transformed into the galaxy's largest research center. Species that had once been forbidden to interact now worked together, combining their knowledge in ways the Council had never imagined possible. The latest survey teams found something interesting, Walker told Cooper as they left the chamber. Evidence that the Council wasn't the first to try controlling the galaxy. Other empires rose and fell the same way. They tried to stop change instead of embracing it. "And that's why we'll succeed where they failed," Cooper replied. "The Federation doesn't try to control its members, it empowers them. Every species brings something unique to the table." As if to prove her point, a group of young aliens rushed past, excitedly discussing a new form of space travel that combined principles from 6 different civilizations. The Council would have suppressed such research, seeing it as a threat to their power. The Federation encouraged it. Walker thought back to the day the Council had delivered their ultimatum to Earth. They had called humanity dangerous, unpredictable, and too quick to change. They had been right about everything except what those qualities meant. "To think they watched us for so long but never understood," he said. "Humanity's greatest strength wasn't our technology or our weapons. It was our ability to imagine something better and work to make it real." As the station rotated, Earth came into view through the grand windows. The planet that had started this revolution now stood as a symbol of freedom across the galaxy. The species that the Council had feared as too dangerous had become the guardians of liberty. The new galactic order had begun, and this time it was built on freedom, cooperation, and the endless potential for change.